The greatest secret of creation lies not in effort, but in surrender. We have been taught to struggle, to strive, to push against life as if it were our enemy. Yet all along, creation has been whispering a softer truth, that what we desire comes not through force, but through the quiet power of letting go. When you release the need to make something happen, you make space for it to unfold on its own. The mind believes that control is power, but true power lives in stillness. Desire is not fulfilled by obsession, it is fulfilled by faith. When you imagine your wish as already done, and then rest in that feeling, life begins to rearrange itself around your inner conviction. Letting go is not giving up. It is the sacred act of allowing. When you release your grip on the how, the when, and the what if, you allow the infinite intelligence that animates all things to move freely through you. Every seed grows when left undisturbed. Every dream manifests when released from anxiety and doubt. Do less and feel more. Stop trying to manifest from the surface of your mind. The surface only knows lack. Drop deeper into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Stay there, gently, without question or struggle. You will notice that your outer world begins to echo your inner stillness. People shift. Circumstances align. What once seemed impossible becomes natural. The power that creates worlds does not strain. It does not chase. It simply is. You are that same power. When you stop forcing outcomes, you return to your natural state of effortless creation. The moment you let go, what you desire begins to come toward you, not because you've abandoned it, but because you've finally allowed it to manifest faster, release faster. Each time you let go of fear, of urgency, of the need to control, you move closer to what you seek. Life meets you in that openness. Creation rushes to fill the space you've cleared. The less you do, the more the universe can move. So, rest in the knowing that all is done. Feel the peace of already having what you desire. Let that be enough. And watch how effortlessly everything you've ever wanted finds its way to you. Not through struggle, but through surrender. The art of letting go begins in silence. The silence that comes when you finally stop fighting what is. The mind resists this silence because it believes motion equals progress. But the truth is, movement without alignment only deepens separation from what you want. We have been conditioned to equate effort with success. Yet the deeper reality is that every act of trying declares that you do not yet have. And as long as you declare lack through your effort, life will continue to show you more lack. The power of creation is subtle. It moves beneath the surface of thought. It does not roar or demand attention. It waits for you to quiet the noise, to rest your mental hands, to trust. When you let go, you are not giving up the dream. You are returning it to its natural rhythm. You are stepping aside so that life itself can breathe it into form. The seed does not grow by being pulled from the soil every day to check its progress. It grows in the dark, unseen, nourished by stillness. Your desires are no different. To let go is to remember who you are. You are not the struggler, not the one who must make things happen through effort or worry. You are awareness itself, the observer who imagines, feels, and then experiences. Every creation begins as a feeling. You do not need to make the feeling real. It already is. Your task is simply to dwell in it long enough that it becomes natural. When it feels real within, the outer must conform. This is law, not philosophy. Imagine yourself at peace. Imagine the desire fulfilled, not as a distant wish, but as your present reality. Let your body soften, your breath slow, and allow the feeling of completion to wrap around you. Stay there. The mind will try to interrupt, whispering that nothing is changing, that it's not enough, that you must do something. But that voice is only the echo of old conditioning, the false belief that doing creates. Feel it rise and let it pass. Return to stillness. The more you practice this, the more you realize that doing less is not laziness, it is mastery. Creation is not about forcing outcomes, it's about alignment. You align with your desire by becoming emotionally equal to it. You cannot manifest abundance while feeling scarcity, nor love while feeling unworthy. The outer world can only mirror what is held within. Letting go, therefore, is not the act of abandoning your dream, it is the act of releasing every inner resistance to it. You let go of fear, doubt, and attachment until only certainty remains. And certainty does not need proof, it knows. There comes a moment when you must stop asking, stop pleading, stop checking. When you have truly imagined the wish fulfilled, your work is complete. To continue worrying is to undo your creation. So you let go, gently, deliberately. You move through your day in peace, knowing that what you have claimed within must appear without. You stop seeking signs because you have become the sign. You stop begging the universe to move because you understand that it already has. The energy of letting go is quiet confidence. It carries no urgency. It feels like standing in sunlight, knowing warmth is inevitable. When you embody that, everything accelerates. What you used to chase begins to flow naturally toward you. People show up, opportunities arise, paths open where walls once stood. The outer world begins to dance in rhythm with your inner calm. And yet, the mind resists this simplicity. It wants formulas, timelines, guarantees. It fears stillness because stillness exposes illusion. The illusion that control is safety. But control is the greatest barrier to manifestation. When you try to control life, you say with your energy, I do not trust it. And life responds accordingly. The energy you emit is always mirrored back. So when you let go of control, you send out trust. You say, I know it's done. And the universe, like a perfect echo, delivers experiences that prove your faith was justified. Letting go is an act of remembrance. You remember that creation is effortless because you are already whole. Everything you desire is not something to acquire. It is something to allow. The reason manifestation feels difficult is not because it's far. It's because you are holding on too tightly. You are holding on to stories of limitation, timelines, old beliefs that say you must earn what is already yours. Release them. You were never meant to struggle for your own reflection. The paradox is that the more you try to manifest, the more you affirm you don't yet have. Effort becomes a declaration of separation. But when you stop trying and start being, a manifestation becomes automatic. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and smiling. The reflection smiles instantly. You don't have to beg the mirror to respond. You don't need to check every second if it's still smiling. You simply know that the reflection must follow your expression. So too with life. What you hold within, persistently and peacefully, must echo back to you. If you can grasp this, you will no longer measure progress by outer appearances. The moment you imagine something clearly and feel its reality, it begins. Even if nothing has changed externally, trust that everything is shifting internally. The invisible structure of life rearranging itself in perfect precision. To doubt this is to uproot your own seed. So you let it be. You rest in the unseen. You cultivate faith, not by forcing belief, but by gently returning to the feeling every time doubt arises. Faith is not blind optimism. It is quiet knowing. It does not argue or struggle, it simply holds its place. When you have faith, you can let go because you know it's done. You no longer cling to the outer because you understand the inner controls all. You stop begging life for proof because you are the proof. Do less. Feel more. This is the key. Manifestation is not mechanical, it is emotional. Every great shift happens first in vibration, in feeling. When you learn to generate the emotion of having without needing, you master creation. You become a conscious participant in the same intelligence that forms galaxies and flowers. That intelligence doesn't hurry, doesn't doubt, doesn't strain. It simply expresses. So must you. Letting go is not passive. It is the most powerful action there. Is because it shifts you from resistance to flow. You stop pushing against what is and start moving with it. You stop demanding that life follow your limited plan and open to something larger, wiser, infinitely precise. The more you relax, the more synchronicities appear. You will notice conversations aligning, opportunities emerging at perfect timing, answers arriving without effort. This is not magic, it is alignment. There's a rhythm to the universe, a pulse that guides all creation. When you let go, you begin to feel it. You sense when to act and when to rest. You no longer force outcomes, you respond to inspiration. Inspired action is not the same as busy action. Busy action is fueled by fear and impatience. Inspired action is born from peace. When you act from peace, even a small step carries tremendous power because it is backed by alignment, not resistance. Letting go allows space for inspiration to emerge. As long as your mind is filled with worry, there is no room for intuition. But when you release the noise, guidance flows in naturally. Subtle impulses, quiet nudges, gentle knowing. You start to realize you are not alone in your creation. Life is co-creating with you, matching your vibration every moment. The mind may ask, but how do I know it's working? The answer is always the same when you feel peace. It's working. A peace is the sign that you are aligned. The anxious urge to check or fix things is a symptom of mistrust. So, whenever that arises, you simply return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Rest in that. Trust that unseen forces are moving in your favor. You may not see the mechanics, but you will always see the result. Perfectly timed, perfectly tailored. The old self, the one conditioned to chase, to fear, to control, will try to reassert itself. It will tell you that doing nothing is dangerous, that surrender means loss. But surrender is the doorway to power. It is the quiet realization that you never needed to chase what was already within you. The old self was built on lack. The new self is built on knowing. The moment you choose knowing, life begins to respond differently. You cannot manifest abundance while clinging to the vibration of scarcity. You cannot draw love while radiating fear. Letting go means releasing those old emotional frequencies. When you feel lack, don't fight it. Witness it, breathe through it, and gently choose a new feeling. Replace striving with allowing, doubt with faith, tension with ease. Each time you do, your frequency rises. And as your frequency rises, manifestation accelerates. Notice how nature creates, without rush, without strain. The river doesn't struggle to flow, it follows its path naturally. The flower doesn't fight to bloom, it opens when the time is right. So too must you. You cannot force your desires into being through resistance. You allow them by returning to your natural state of flow. Many people mistake letting go for indifference. They think that if they stop caring, they'll lose their desire. But letting go is not about not caring. It's about caring so deeply that you trust. You no longer feel the need to manipulate the outcome. You love the desire, nurture it with faith, and then release it into the infinite. Like a parent who trusts their child to walk on their own. You let it go knowing it will stand. There's a quiet joy in letting go, a lightness that comes from realizing you were never meant to carry everything. You begin to walk differently, slower, softer, but with more power. You speak with certainty, but without the need to convince. You no longer grasp for signs, because you've become a living sign of faith. And in that energy, creation moves swiftly. Life mirrors your inner state perfectly. When you are tense, it feels delayed. When you are calm, it unfolds easily. The moment you stop trying to control time, time bends to your favor. What once took months may take days. What seemed impossible suddenly appears in the most natural way. This is the paradox: doing less brings more. Every manifestation is simply a reflection of consciousness. Consciousness imagines, feels, and receives. You are that consciousness. The outer world is not separate, it is your inner world made visible. So, when you release the inner struggle, the outer must soften too. You don't need to fight shadows when you can simply turn toward the light. Letting go is not a one-time act, it's a way of being. You let go every day, of worry, of control, of attachment. Each release brings you closer to peace, and peace is the frequency of miracles. The more you live in peace, the more life unfolds with precision and beauty. You start to see that nothing is against you. Even delays and detours reveal themselves as part of the path. You trust the timing because you trust yourself. Eventually, you come to see that the art of letting go is the art of living. It is the art of remembering that you were never separate from what you seek. The lover you long for, the wealth you desire, the health you dream of, all of it already exists in potential, waiting for your alignment. Let go of how it will appear and allow it to. Creation is not a race, it is a dance, and in every dance, one must surrender to rhythm. The universe leads, you follow through feeling. When you let go, you move gracefully. You stop stepping on your own feet. You stop rushing ahead of the beat. You start to enjoy the movement itself. And in that enjoyment, everything comes effortlessly. There is no power greater than stillness, no speed greater than surrender. When you release the need to control, you align with infinite intelligence. And in that alignment, what you once called miracles become your everyday reality. Letting go is the highest form of trust. It is the moment when you look into the invisible and say, I believe in what I cannot yet see. It is not passive resignation, it is divine confidence. The world will tell you to fight, to grind, to chase, but the deeper current of life asks you to yield, to allow, to rest in faith. That is where the true transformation begins, in the quiet surrender of your inner resistance. Every time you release your grip on a desire, you free it to find its own path to you. Imagine holding a bird in your hands, too tight, and you suffocate it, too loose, and it flies away before its time. But when you hold it gently, with care but without control, it feels your peace and stays. So too with manifestation. The more you cling, the more you affirm distance. The more you trust, the closer it comes. The great paradox of creation is that you must feel complete before completion appears. You must feel abundant before money arrives, love before love manifests, healthy before health blooms. The feeling precedes the fact. When you let go of the need for outer validation, you reclaim your power. You no longer say, I will feel happy when. Instead, you declare, I feel it now. And the world has no choice but to mirror that declaration, To truly let go, you must become intimate with the present moment. You must stop running toward the future as though salvation hides there. Everything you seek already lives here, in the now, waiting for your recognition. The future is not a place you go to, it is something you create from this instant. When you rest in this moment, fully, deeply, you align with the creative power that governs all. Letting go is like unclenching a fist that has been tight for years. At first, it hurts. The muscles tremble. The mind protests. You've been conditioned to believe that tension equals safety, that control equals certainty. But when you begin to relax, you realize that safety was never in the grip. It was in the trust. You realize that the only thing your control ever produced was exhaustion. When you let go, life rushes in to support you, as if it had been waiting patiently for you to stop resisting. This process is subtle. It does not happen all at once. Sometimes letting go feels like small steps. A thought released here, an old story softened there. You notice the moments when you start to worry again, and instead of feeding that worry, you breathe. You say quietly, "It's already done." That one sentence carries more power than 1,000 actions driven by fear. Every time you affirm that truth, you strengthen the frequency of trust within you. Many people misunderstand letting go as a loss of ambition. But ambition born of peace is infinitely stronger than ambition born of desperation. The one who is calm creates faster than the one who is frantic. This is because calmness aligns you with infinite intelligence. The same intelligence that orchestrates stars, tides, and seasons. That intelligence knows the shortest path from desire to manifestation. Your task is not to control the path, but to remain open enough to receive its guidance. When you let go, ideas come. Solutions arise without effort. The right people appear without struggle. You begin to experience what others call coincidence, but you know it's not random, it's resonance. You are simply vibrating in harmony with what you desire. Every effortless manifestation is a reflection of inner alignment. The harder you push, the more you reveal your disbelief. The more you relax, the more you reveal your trust. Imagine walking through a forest. If you force your way through every branch, you get scratched and tired. But if you move gently, pausing to observe, the path seems to open for you. Life works the same way. The path of least resistance is not laziness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that creation happens through cooperation, not conflict. The truth is, everything you want already exists in a vibrational state. Your only job is to tune into it. And tuning in is not done through effort, it's done through allowing. The radio does not create the music, it simply adjusts frequency to receive what's already playing. Likewise, when you let go of resistance, the static of doubt, fear, and impatience, you naturally tune into the frequency of what you desire. And when that happens, the music of manifestation begins to play. There's a quiet beauty in realizing that life was never meant to be controlled. The tree doesn't control how it grows. The river doesn't control how it flows. They simply follow their nature. And your nature is to create through awareness, not through effort. You are an extension of the same creative intelligence that animates all existence. When you return to that realization, creation becomes effortless. Letting go is the bridge between wanting and having. The moment you let go, you cross that bridge. From seeking to receiving, from tension to peace. You realize that your desire was never outside you. It was always within, waiting for your acceptance. The act of letting go says, "I accept it now." And acceptance is the doorway through which all creation enters. You will notice that when you truly let go, your emotions shift. Anxiety turns to calm, impatience to gratitude. Gratitude is the natural state of someone who knows it's already done. Gratitude doesn't beg, it celebrates, doesn't chase, it receives. When you walk through your day with the vibration of gratitude, you magnetize miracles. Life mirrors that frequency instantly, because gratitude is the signature of abundance realized. Do less, but feel deeper. When you sit quietly and close your eyes, imagine your desire not as a hope, but as a memory, something that has already happened. Feel it as real with all your senses. Let that feeling saturate you completely until there's no room for doubt. Then open your eyes, smile gently, and carry that inner knowing into your day. That is all you ever need to do. The rest unfolds naturally. There is power in stillness, but few dare to trust it. Stillness reveals everything the mind tries to hide: fear, impatience, insecurity. But when you face those shadows without running, they lose power. You see them for what they are: illusions created by an overprotective mind. And when they fade, you are left with clarity. The pure knowing that creation is simple. You think it, you feel it, you let it go, and it appears. To live in this way requires courage. The courage to stop doing what the world expects and to start being what your soul knows. The courage to stop measuring your progress by outer evidence. The courage to believe that your unseen inner world is more real than the visible one. That's what faith truly is: seeing with the inner eye when the outer eye sees nothing. Faith and letting go are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. Faith says, I trust the unseen, and letting go says, I no longer need to see it to believe. Together, they unlock creation. Together, they make the impossible natural. Letting go also means releasing attachment to timing. The mind believes in deadlines. The universe believes in alignment. If something hasn't arrived yet, it's not because you failed. It's because you're being prepared. Every delay refines you, reshapes your energy, adjusts your frequency so that when the manifestation arrives, you can sustain it. If you received everything you asked for instantly, without inner readiness, it would crumble. So trust the timing. The pause is never punishment, it is precision. Letting go teaches patience. Not the kind filled with frustration, but the kind filled with peace. The kind that says, I don't need to rush because what's mine cannot miss me. That sentence, when truly felt, dissolves anxiety. What's yours cannot miss you. Feel that truth deeply, and you'll see how your energy shifts. The body relaxes, the mind quiets, and the heart opens. From that space, manifestation becomes inevitable. Notice how much lighter life feels when you stop trying to manage every detail. You begin to move through your days with ease. Inspiration comes at unexpected moments. Things begin to just work out. This is the flow that mystics and masters spoke of. Not a mystical state reserved for a few, but a natural rhythm available to all who trust. Every breath you take can be an act of letting go. Inhale peace, exhale control. Inhale faith, exhale fear. The breath reminds you that you are not here to cling. Even the body knows how to let go. The exhale is proof. Life moves through cycles of release and renewal, and you are part of that rhythm. You don't hold on to the last breath, or the last moment, or the last opportunity. You let it go, knowing more will come. Letting go also frees you from identity. You stop defining yourself by past failures, by stories of who you used to be. You realize that you are not your history. You are consciousness itself. ever renewing, ever creating. The past only exists when you keep feeding it attention. Letting go of the past is not forgetting, it is forgiving. You release the emotional weight of what was so that you can stand freely in what is. As you practice this, you'll notice that your outer world begins to change subtly at first, then dramatically. Things you once chased begin to approach you. People treat you differently. Opportunities find you. You will realize that nothing has changed but you, your state of being. The outer always mirrors the inner. So if you want more love, be love. If you want more freedom, feel free. If you want abundance, live as though you already have it. Then release all effort. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth, life begins to show you how worthy you've always been. That is the essence of letting go. It is the return to your natural worthiness. You don't need to force blessings because you are the source of them. The universe does not reward effort, it reflects consciousness. There's a quiet point beyond all striving, a point where you realize that nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be earned, nothing needs to be controlled. In that state, you become magnetic. You no longer chase life, life chases you. Not because you are lucky, but because you have finally aligned with the truth of who you are. Letting go feels like freedom. It feels like exhaling after years of holding your breath. You begin to notice beauty in ordinary moments. You start to enjoy life again. Not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer demand that it be. You've realized that peace is not a result of perfect circumstances, but the cause of them. Eventually, you discover that letting go is not something you do once in a while. It becomes your way of living. You wake each day with a gentle heart, open to what comes and at peace with what leaves. You no longer fear loss because you understand that nothing real can ever be lost. Energy only changes form. And so you move through life lighter, freer, calmer. You no longer grasp for outcomes you create through being. You no longer measure success by what you get, but by how peaceful you feel. You no longer chase signs. You become the sign. In this state, manifestation is not even your goal anymore. It becomes inevitable. When you master letting go, you stop trying to manifest faster. Because you realize there's no faster. In the timeless now, everything unfolds at the perfect moment, and you are always right on time. You become one with the rhythm of creation, effortless, graceful, unstoppable. And when you reach this state, something extraordinary happens. You realize that what you were trying to manifest was never the point. The point was the transformation within you, the awakening of the creator who no longer needs to try, the one who simply imagines, feels, and allows, the one who knows that by letting go, all things are already done. Letting go is not weakness. It is the ultimate expression of power. It is the quiet moment when you finally stop chasing what was never running from you. The moment you release the struggle, everything you desire begins to move toward you, drawn by the peace that radiates from your certainty. The secret was never in doing more, it was in trusting more. You do not manifest by force, you manifest by faith. So breathe, surrender, and allow life to prove that when you let go, nothing is lost, everything is gained.